Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. First of all, please let me know if you can listen to me. So please let me know by raising your hand. Then I'll proceed. Okay, you can listen to me very good. So let's move on towards the topic. And before topic, let me clear the instructions to you. Listen to your teacher carefully. Your teacher means right now me. Do not raise questions during explanation. You will be given enough time for questions after complete explanation. So do not raise questions during explanation. It will disturb me and you as well. You should have required stationery during class like pencil, paper, or other required stationery if you need like eraser and all. Do work in fair copy according to the instructions. I will give you home task obviously, and you will do that home task with the instructions inshallah I will give you. So start the topic. Today, as I yesterday I told you, okay, we are going to learn grammar today, and in grammar today's the topics you are going to learn are conditional sentences and punctuation. Both the topics are not new for you. You are quite acquainted with them, but you are going to learn them again, and you can say it's a kind of revision you are going to do, or any kind of misunderstanding or any kind of lack of understanding if you have, so you can remove it. Okay, so let's proceed. Conditional sentence. What is conditional sentence? Conditional sentences are sentences that express one thing contingent. Contingent means dependent on something else. If it rains, the picnic will be cancelled. Means the cancellation of picnic depends on rain. They are so called, means they are not real, because the impact of the main clause of the sentence is conditional on the dependent clause, means the main clause has an impact of the dependent clause, and that's the reason we put if. The conjunction if means we are talking about something uncertain, something conditional, something dependent on. So these are this is the definition of conditional sentence. That is quite easy I think for you. Let's move on. Okay, structure of a conditional sentence. What is the structure of a conditional sentence? A conditional sentence is composed of two parts. If clause, if and one clause means one sentence, then we put comma, this plus you can say it's a comma, and main clause. These are the two parts, if clause and main clause. Example is here, if it rains tomorrow, we will not come. You can see there is a comma, there is a conjunction if, and two different sentences are connected and they are linked with each other. So this part is called if clause and this part is main clause or the result clause. So this is the structure of any conditional sentence, whether it's type 1, it's type 2 or it is type 3. It doesn't matter which type it is. It has always two parts, if clause and main clause, the result clause. Okay, let's move on. Types of conditional sentences. There is another type, girls, that is called mixed conditional, but today I'm going to teach you the four basic types. First conditional, second conditional, third conditional, and zero conditional. First, second, third conditionals you have learnt in class 9. You learnt in class 9 as well. And zero conditional, you might have been taught, but we will learn it in a little detail. Okay, so let's start with first conditional. First conditional, see structure. If, then simple present and simple future. Simple present and simple future might be present continuous in present and future continuous. Actually, it is the combination of simple tense and future tense. This might be continuous as well. Commonly, it is simple present and simple future, but it might be continuous future and continuous present. What is the usage? To talk about possibilities in the present or in the future. When we use first conditional, when we talk about possibilities, if we do this, this will happen. You can see examples. If it rains, I will stay at home means rain is a condition, and then what will be the consequence? Someone will stay at home. If I wake up late, this is a condition. If someone does so, I will miss the bus. So what will be the result? The result will be missing the bus. And if it's sunny, we will go to the park. Means if someone wants to go to the park, the condition is to be sunny, the weather to be sunny. So this is the structure of first conditional. We do not write down two future sentences together. Remember, because if you see Urdu sentences of conditional sentence, so you will feel that both the sentences are, sometimes you see, actually feel means you see that both the sentences are in future, although what happens first, that is the present of the future, the possibility of a future, and then what condition we put along is actually the present situation we take it, because that happens before the future, so that's why we take it as present tense. Okay, what is the purpose of the next slide is the purpose of using first conditional. It is used to talk about things which might happen in the future, like the results in the future or the condition as well in the future. The condition we haven't done yet. We talk about if we do this will happen. Okay, of course we cannot know what will happen in the future, but this describes possible things, probable things, that this might be the result, and that is quite common in our daily routine conversation. We sometimes try to make others understand by using conditional sentences, which could easily come true. Another sentence is, you can see on the slide, if it rains, I won't go to the park. Again, if it rains, the consequence will be not going to the park, the cancellation of going to the park. So this is first conditional. Okay, let's move towards the second conditional. If plus past, this is the structure. If, that is a conjunction, past tense, would and infinitive. Infinitive means first form of verb. Would plus first form of verb. This is the structure. Subject and object, you know, they are fixed. So I'm just telling you what actually is different. Uh, if I were rich, I would travel around the world. If someone is saying that if that person has money, so he would do such and such activity. Second and third conditional are quite similar, but there is a fine line between them to understand. Second condition is actually about a little bit linked with present tense. Sometimes we just want to make others understand. We just give example, an idea, or you can say a theory based on suggestion. Okay, this something I want to do still. Okay, so we used past tense, but we want still want to do, and it has a belonging with future. Sorry, with present. We use the structure if plus past, would plus infinitive to talk about an improbable or hypothetical. Hypothetical means based on suggested idea, and its consequence. Consequence means result. Okay, what is the purpose of using second conditional? The type 2 conditional, that is second conditional, refers to an unlikely or hypothetical condition. Hypothetical, again, not real. Hypothetical means unreal, or you can say based on suggested idea. Just to make someone understand, just to give a suggestion, we use these kind of sentences. That does not actually happen, what we are talking about, and its probable result. These sentences are not based on the actual situation. As I told you, hypothetical somehow means unreal. In type 2 conditional sentences, the time is now or any time, and the situation is hypothetical. Now or any time means it has a belonging with present, that we give example, okay, if it happened, I would do this and this, but it means that still you have that idea or that suggestion, okay, to do. Let's move on to the third conditional. Third conditional, again, if is a regular conjunction, you can see, okay, if plus past perfect tense, and then perfect conditional, sorry, perfect conditional, would or would not, depends if sentence is positive or negative, have, that is called perfective, and then third form of verb. Past participle means third form of verb. Usage, imaginary situation in the past. This is the difference between second and third. The third conditional is 100% unreal. Now you cannot do that thing what you're talking about. The time is over now. Okay. If I had got a gold medal, I would have been happy. I would have been happy is the consequence of the first situation if I had got a gold medal. But it means that this did not happen. Now the time is over. You cannot do something for this. If I had met Suzanne last week, I would have given her the book. Again, the condition is just telling you the situation, what actually happened that time. Otherwise, the time is over to do something for this. It means you cannot remove the problem, or you cannot solve the situation of this particular sentence. If the weather had been good, we would have gone water skiing. Okay, so these are examples like if clause and their result clause, and they are from past actually, and we cannot change the situation now. We talk about actually what happened and what we could do in past. If we did something to this would be the result. Okay, but now we cannot change the situation. So what is the purpose of using third conditional? The type 3 conditional refers to an impossible condition. Now, as I told you, the time is not in your hand to do the action again. The time is over in the past, and it's probable. Probable means possible result in the past. These sentences are truly hypothetical, fully hypothetical, and unreal. Hypothetical means suggest for suggestion, just to clear the understanding, and sometimes to make others understand you should not do this. You give example, okay, I did so and it happened, so you should not do this. Sometimes we want to make others clear because it is now too late for the condition or its result, as I have told you, to exist. There is always some implication of regret. Means when we talk about this conditional, somehow we talk about the regret we have. If we had done this, this would not have happened. So it means that we have some kind of regret in our mind, like as we say in Urdu, kash we would do so. Okay, conditional in with type 3 conditional sentences. The reality is the opposite of or contrary to what the sentence expresses. In type 3 conditional sentences, the time is the past and the situation is hypothetical. Hypothetical, again, I'm telling you, unreal, based on suggested idea or theory. And in simple words, unreal. So, second and third both are unreal conditions, but second conditional is not that kind of unreal. Means कि you gave an example by second conditional that this could happen but could not happen, but somehow the time is now in your hand, you can do. But when it's about third conditional, now you cannot do something for the situation. You can do something else, means you cannot change that situation. But type 2, you can change the situation. Okay, now the fourth type, that is, I told you first time, I think you are learning with detail, zero conditional. If plus present simple and present simple. This is actually the structure. The conditional clause isn't present and the result isn't present. Why? To talk about things that are always true. The result is obvious. It means like a scientific fact. If you freeze water, it turns into ice. Freezing water results in turning the water into ice. Means the result is obvious. Everybody knows that this is going to be the result of this action. And if you heat water at 100 degrees, it boils. Means if you heat water at 100 degrees, obviously it boils. That's why you are using simple present. Means you are sure about the result. If students miss an exam, the professor fails them. Obviously, missing an exam results you failing in the exams. Okay, let's see how or when to use zero conditional. Zero conditional is quite closer to first conditional. That's why I'm telling you to compare it with first conditional. The first conditional describes a particular situation, whereas the zero conditional describes what happens in general. Particular situation means a particular result or probable result you think will happen. So that's why you use future tense, means you're not sure about the result. But when we talk about zero conditional, what happens in general means the results or the result of an action is quite obvious, so we use zero conditional. So this is the difference between first and zero conditional. For example, zero conditional, if you sit in the sun you get burned. That is obvious. If you are sitting in the sun, you get burned. Here I'm talking about every time a person sits in the sun, the burning is a natural consequence, means natural result of the sitting. But if we do the sentence in first conditional, what does it mean? Means the context is now changed. If you sit in the sun, you'll get burned. Why we are using will here? Why we are using it in future sentence? Here I'm talking about what will happen today. Another day might be different. Means a particular result will happen because of today's weather. Or and in the first sentence we were talking about a general consequence of sitting in a particular weather. Got it? So this is the difference between zero conditional. The structure is the structure is uh, the structure of zero conditional I'm showing you again. Present simple, and the result is also in present simple. Again, see the example. If you freeze water, it turns into ice. Let's move on. Now, this is all about conditional sentences, and we are learning about punctuation. You can see an interesting picture, different signs of punctuation, and you are quite aware of punctuation. Punctuation is not new for you. So, let's start. Definition. Punctuation is a set of marks that are 14 actually in total, that regulates and clarifies the meaning of different texts, because we have different kind of sentences and different contexts. Sometimes the same sentence we write in a different context and the same sentence in a different. Many times punctuation marks clear the situation, and I'll give you an example very interesting in the end of the lecture. The term punctuation has originated from the medieval Latin word punctuation, which mark means marking or signs, because these are different signs and markings that we put within the sentences. Okay, so these are different punctuation marks. They are not total punctuation marks. These are eight common punctuation marks we use. There are some more. Actually, there are 14 in total, but I'm just discussing with you the most common. Full stop, question mark, comma, exclamation mark, quotation mark, colon, semicolon, apostrophe, and use of capital letter I will also tell you. So these are like full stop used at the end of a sentence, and quotation mark, question mark used at the end of an interrogative sentence. Okay, we will talk about further because you are gonna learn them separately. Before starting particular punctuation marks separately, purpose of to punctuate sentence. The purpose of punctuation is to clarify the meanings of text by linking or separating words. Sometimes we put a mark for linking the words. On the other hand, we put marks for separating the words, phrases, or clauses. For example, in the sentence, yesterday rain fog, today frost mist, but how fascinating each. At the turn of the year by Fiona MacLeod, hyphens are used to separate the compound words. You can see these are two words and we are putting a hyphen to link these words. And here it's a comma and we are using this comma to separate the adverb from the rest of the sentence, while commas are used to separate the phrases. Okay, so one mark for separating, another mark for linking or joining. So these two are the purposes of punctuation sentences: linking the words, phrases, or clauses, or separating the words, phrases, or clauses within the sentence we put. Okay, full stop, the most common. It indicates the first use of full stop. It indicates when used at the end of a sentence. When we end a sentence, we commonly put full stop. Let's go there. You can say full stop. I like this laptop. Read this book. I'll go home. These are different kinds of sentences, and everywhere at the end there is full stop. But it's not always full stop. There are some other marks that we use to end the sentence. But full stop is the most common after abbreviations like etc, am, pm. Okay, for making abbreviations we full stop between them, and also after words like goodbye, all right, goodbye, all right, these are actually words to give particular meaning. So these are not full sentences, but we put full stop after these kind of after writing these kind of words. Okay, let's move on. See what next. Question mark and a direct question. As I told you, full stop is a sign that shows the sentence is over. Question mark is also the same kind of sign. But what is the difference? Where to put full stop or where to put question mark? You know very well. And a direct question. Actually, with questions, we do not put full stop. We put question mark, especially direct questions. Have you seen especially means actually direct questions. Have you seen the film yet? It's a question. So question mark. What are you doing? Question mark. Actually, question mark here is a sign to show that the sentence is actually a question. It's not an information. Indirect uncertainty. Sometimes we are uncertain. We are not asking question, but we are showing that we are confused. We are not sure about the fact. John was born in 1988. We are putting question mark means we are not sure about the birth of John, the date of birth of John. He is sick. It means that we are somehow asking a question. We are confused. We are not certain about the fact. I saw him going out this morning in a series of questions. It is good in form, style, meaning. Now we have one question and we have some other questions in a series. So every time we have to put separate question marks to show that we have different kind of questions in our mind. That clarifies. If we put one, it will seem one question. Although we have these different kind of questions, so we put different full stops. He has been hospitalized. Why? Is he better now? Together, three questions we are asking and three question marks we are using. That's why, because we have three different questions in mind. And a tag question. Tag question, after the statement, we put a tag questions for the confirmation of the statement. And here we also put question mark. We have never seen that, have we? They are not doing very well, are they? These are have we and are they are question tags, and with question tags or tag questions we put question mark also. Okay, let's move on, see some more. Comma. To separate a series of words. Okay, let me tell you, comma is the most complicated or the most difficult punctuation mark because it has many uses. That's why it is a little bit difficult than other punctuation marks. The first and the most common use of comma is to separate a series of words. These words might be nouns, adjectives, verbs, or adverbs in a sentence. And that is the first use that students are taught about. Tom, Anna, Jim, and Richard went for the meeting. So these are different nouns. We have to separate them with comma. David is an intelligent, loyal, and hardworking employee. So intelligent, loyal, and hardworking, these are different adjectives, but we have to separate them with comma to separate a series of phrases in a sentence. In a sentence, there might be different phrases and they have particular places. Sometimes we change their place. So what we do, we separate them within the sentence, we separate them with commas. And sometimes they have a particular place, but for putting them in the sentence, we have to put commas because they are giving a separate meaning, additional meaning to the sentence. But they are needed to be packed within two commas. John completed his homework, packed his bags, polished his shoes, and went to sleep. Sorry, these are different actions in the form of phrases. But sometimes we join phrase after a subject just to describe the subject. We also put comma in such a situation. Okay, so for putting separate phrases, we use comma for separating them. To separate the parenthetical elements means additional part of a sentence that can be removed, and this removal will not change the meaning. Like you're talking to a person whose name is David, so you can call his name or you cannot call his name. Not necessary to call the name. David, the head boy of the school, has been absent for the last 3 days. So you can ignore the word David. The head boy of the school has been absent. You can put in such a way. So, or David, you are clearing the noun David. So you can, sorry, not David, you can take it out. You can take out the head boy of the school. This is actually an additional phrase about the subject David. So you can take it out. The sentence will remain a complete sentence. This will not give, you know, incompletion to the sentence. So this is again a parenthetical element or a phrase to describe the subject or object. Sometimes we also do, or to describe a noun or any other part of a speech. So we put comma to separate that phrase from the main subject. To separate the quoted parts, in direct narration we have a quoted part, so we separate that quoted part with comma. The uh, reporting speech we write, then we put comma, and then the reported speech into closed into quotation marks we write, and we put comma here to separate them. So these are common uses of commas, but there are some other as well. These are basically most common uses. Actually, these are the uses. They have more details. So what I could do right now. So I am just showing you, and I hope you will get and successfully use comma. Okay, let's move on. Exclamation mark. Used to express, this is the picture, this is the face of exclamation mark. Used to express strong feelings or emotions such as shock, surprise, anger, or a raised voice. Used to give a command. Actually, when we give a command, sometimes we have different moods. Sometimes we just give a command, an ordinary command without so intensity, but sometimes we give command with so much intensity. So in that case, you can put exclamation mark to show the intensity of the feeling behind this command, used after interjections or exclamations. Sometimes we don't write full exclamatory sentence, we just write an interjection meaningless words, or exclamations kind of words, and we put exclamation mark to show that these are associated with feeling and emotions. Used in informal writing, especially when we write something informally, so we use exclamation mark, because in informal writing we are free to express our feelings and emotions than formal writing. That's why this is used more in informal writing. Let's move on. Okay. Okay, the next slide I'm going to. Okay, quotation marks. Use quotation marks. Before quotation marks, is there something? Yes, I have some examples for you. Stop. This is just a word. You can say it's a command. Sit down. It is again a command. John, don't touch that. It's again a command, and you are putting comma here also, because you are putting the name of the person you are talking with. Although it's an imperative. Help. Again, it's an imperative and based on feelings. Hello, how are you? So this hello is showing, the feeling of greeting someone with happiness, with joy. Good night means you are going to sleep and you are sharing your feelings that it's time to take rest. You can put here as well. Please help me. Can I make a suggestion? So this is an interjection. You can use exclamation mark. You use actually exclamation mark after interjection. Boo! They shouted. Get off. Get off means if someone is shouting, means someone is telling something with emotions. So you can see get off, exclamation mark, and boo. Boo is again an interjection, a meaningless word to make someone feel frightened. We use these kind of interjections. You did a great job. How interesting this film is. What a gorgeous room. The meal was so good. She's such a quiet girl. Everywhere we are using exclamation mark in place of full stop, just to show these are not normal sentences. These are actually not abnormal as well. These are sentences which are quite closed to our emotions and feelings, or based on emotions and feelings. Let's move on. The next one is, okay, the next slide is about quotation marks. Use quotation marks around a direct quote and around an interrupted quote. We use quotation marks to close the quotation into, to close the quotation into it, or it shows that this is, somehow particularly said by someone. Give me liberty or give me death. I know, my father said that he is a famous. You can see this sentence is a complete quotation into one quotation marks, but my father said, I know, my father said that he is famous. This quotation is actually interrupted quote, means the first part is here, then the reporting speech and the remaining part. That's why it is interrupted. It has been separated into two parts, but both the parts we will close the quotation, we will close into quotation marks. The next is colon. The colon is a punctuation mark consisting of two dots, one over the other. Why do we use colon? Introduce a list of things. Introduce a dependent clause that helps to emphasize or illustrate the idea in the preceding clause. The first one is quite clear to you. For giving examples, we put colon and then we add a list of things, for example, sometimes for clarifying the meaning as well. But the second one is new for you. See the example. There are three types of muscle in the body: cardiac, smooth, and skeleton. Here we are describing with the examples, or we are actually naming the examples or the parts. She kept repeating, I want that car. Here we are actually joining the illustration of the first what she kept repeating, I want that car. So we can use colon here as well. It's not necessary to use colon in the second sentence. We can use comma as well, but we can also use colon. The next is semicolon. A semicolon is most commonly used to link in a single sentence two independent clauses that are closely related in thought. Somehow you can say that are somehow same in meaning, and we just want to describe. That's why we use the second sentence. When a semicolon is used to join two or more ideas or parts in a sentence, those ideas are then given equal position or rank. As I told you, the equal meaning they actually give, but why do we use two sentences having same meaning? For the description, to make what we are saying easier for the listener. For example, we had so many fumbles, we lost the game. Means game, we had so many fumbles means we lost the game. But we are just clarifying that if someone may not understand what I'm saying, that's why I'm clarifying with the second sentence that is quite closer with the first one. The intelligent one would understand with the first one, they don't need the second one. But it might happen that people who are not familiar with the word fumble, they will not understand. I am here, you are over there. Again, you are over there, I am here, and you are not with me means you are over there. Not necessary to write, but we are using this sentence to describe the first sentence. Okay, and the meaning of the both parts are equal. Okay, next, apostrophe. There are two uses of apostrophe: to form a contraction like short forms and to show possessions. John's cars, the boy's bike, the worker's contact. Here it's a plural, and you can see here after s we are putting and here before s we are putting. So this is the difference. This is plural noun, and this is about sorry, this is about plural noun, and the first one is about singular noun. And short form: do not, don't, cannot, can't, would not, wouldn't. So contraction we make with the help of apostrophe. And the next is use of capital letter. The first letter of the sentence must be capital. The pronoun I, we always write in capital letter. Proper nouns, name of specific people and places, we write with capital letter. Countries, languages, and nationalities, we write with capital letter. Days of the week, months, and holidays, we write with capital letters, but not seasons. The names of deities and holy books. Deities means like god and goddesses kind of people. Okay, god, the bible, the quran. And deities means you need the power, actually the creators. Time periods like world war ii, the great depression, we also write in capital letter. The main words in the titles of books, songs, and articles. Sometimes in articles, in books and songs, and you can say in advertisement as well. The word advertisement is not here. Just to show that these are important words, we can also write them with capital letter. The eighth one is a little different from the rest of the seven. To understand, here we write down the words that we commonly write with the small letters, but we write in books and songs and articles or other kind of compositions, just to tell that these are important words. Okay, home assignment I'm going to share with you. Complete the conditional sentences. There are some conditional sentences and you have to complete, and you have to think which type you have to complete in: type 1, type 2, or type 3. See and take screenshot quickly, girls and girls. Okay, take a screenshot quickly. I hope you have taken. Let's move towards the second one. Okay. Uh, these are 10 in total actually, 5 on first slide, 5 on this slide. Take a screenshot quickly. Would you mind if I dash the window? So you should know which uh, tense is required there to complete. Like 6 1 is actually second conditional, because would is used in second conditional. Okay, so we can now get the if clause must be in past indefinite. Okay, now let's move on. Complete the conditional sentences. Another exercise of conditional sentences. This exercise, these three sentences are of first conditional, these three of second conditional, and these three are for third conditional. So this is again an exercise for you based on conditional sentences. Take a screenshot quickly. I'm going to move towards another one. Okay, let's see the next one. These are some sentences which are not punctuated, and you have to punctuate them whatever is needed, and as well as use capital letters where needed. Okay, these are 10 in total and quite simple. I hope you will do successfully after learning this class as well. And before learning, you were also quite good at punctuation, but you have cleared many things after this class. So Next, move on. Let's move on. Let's end with an interesting quote. Grammar is important. For instance, comma save lives. Let's eat grandpa. Let's eat grandpa. So this comma is actually the second comma. This comma is actually clarifying the meaning. Otherwise, the first sentence is very dangerous. You're talking about to eat your grandpa. Is it possible? Not at all. You are actually sharing your idea with your grandpa. Let's eat grandpa. I want to eat with you. But if you don't put comma, what will be the meaning? You can see. So this is all from my side, and take very good care of yourself. Allah Hafiz. We will tomorrow meet with a new topic, inshallah. Allah Hafiz once again.